In this video, we'll be running an 80 grain EODX 22 Creedmoor, 178 grain EODX 30i6, and 150 grain FMJ 30i6. All right, so here's our setup. We got the pork shoulder, which is about 4.5 inches thick. We got this taped to a piece of steel. So instead of trying to do a video where we got another bone behind it or something else, we're going straight steel. We got the pork shoulder, we got the steel, and then we got these 2 liters behind it, because we're gonna be 150 yards away when we take this shot. So we do a shot with the 30i6, and we got another one set up here. We'll do a shot with the 22 Creedmoor. So if the 22 Creedmoor blows through this, and we get an exit wound, there's no way that we wouldn't get an exit wound from a 30i6. So we'll set up back at 150 yards, take these shots, see what happens. Here's a closer look at the rounds we'll be using for this test. Be sure to stick around to the end of the video, because that's when we show the damage from the 22 Creedmoor. Up first is the 178 grain EODX round 30i6. And here's our pork shoulder, completely ripped just through. Blew it apart. Yep, it just blew straight through the neck, in air quotes. And our spine, our piece of steel, it blew right through that, and we know it blew through because we got an exit wound on the 2 liters. So again, we got our pork shoulder, which represents our neck, and then we have a real piece of steel, not a Charlie Kirk's nickel steel. It blew through the real piece of steel. Then it went through a 2 liter. We know that because we got an exit wound on the 2 liter. All right, next we'll take a shot with the 150 grain full metal jacket round. This is an FMJ round. All right, so here's our shot with the FMJ round. This is 150 grain FMJ. So it went through our mock neck here. And yeah, it had, yeah, there we go. So it went through, there's our exit. Yeah, nice. And we know it also went through our piece of steel. So again, the narrative, there it is over there. The narrative that a human neck, which this was our mock neck, would get hit with the 30i6 with this full metal jacket or a hunting round. It obliterated the bottle. Yeah, and then go through a literal piece of steel. Not a neck, not a spine, like a literal piece of steel. Just blew through a piece of steel after going through this neck from 150 yards away. And there's our proof in the pudding. That's why we put these behind to make sure. It was a clean through and through shot. Yeah, and that's with the FMJ. So that way we could tell it went through the neck, went through a piece of steel, not a human spine. And then it blew through the Coke bottle. So again, guys, the narrative that Charlie Kirk could get hit from 150 yards away with the 30i6 round, be it FMJ or a hunting round. We just shot this with a 150 grain FMJ round. It blew straight through our pork shoulder, blew through a literal piece of steel, and then blew up our Coke bottles to give us our exits. And now for the moment of truth, we'll switch. I'll let my wife take the shot with the 22 Creedmoor. If this 22 Creedmoor blows through this steel at 150 yards away, there's no way you can convince me that a 30i6 would have been stopped by Charlie Kirk's neck. Check out the socks. Good shot. Drilled it. 150 yards from an elevated position. 22 Creedmoor, which is a lot smaller, a lot less energy than the 30i6. It completely blew through this neck, in air quotes, this pork shoulder. And what was behind it is a piece of steel. How about you bang that with your knuckles a couple times? So it went through the pork shoulder, which represents the neck, and then went through a real piece of steel. It went through the steel, which is why we have this action back here on the 2 liter. There's the exit wound from the 2 liter. All this was with the puny little 22 Creedmoor compared to a 30i6. You just watched an 80 grain 22 Creedmoor absolutely destroy a piece of mild steel from 150 yards away. After running this test, there's just no way you can convince me that a 30-06 wouldn't have completely obliterated Charlie Kirk's neck. If you enjoy this type of content, smash that like button, leave us a comment, and be sure to share this video with anyone who thinks Charlie Kirk's neck could actually stop a 30-06 round if a literal piece of steel, as demonstrated in this video, couldn't.